A Relaxing Night Journey, Part 1, The First Carriage. They said the train only appeared at night. Not on any map, no fixed schedule. You didn't buy a ticket. You just found it when you needed it most. It was always quiet when it arrived. The wind would pause, the trees would listen, and somewhere beyond the edge of where you stood, a silver light would blink across the tracks. And tonight, it found you. You hadn't meant to take a journey. You were only out walking, thinking, wondering, trying to let your mind rest from the noise of the day. But then, in the cool air of dusk, just past the empty field where the wild grass grew tall and golden, you saw it, waiting, the train. Not a loud, modern train. No roaring engine, no bright screens. This one was older, made of polished wood and soft brass edges. The windows glowed warmly, like candlelight behind velvet curtains. You stepped toward it slowly. The doors opened without a sound. There was no conductor, no rush, just silence and space. And somehow in your chest, a quiet invitation. Inside, the air smelled of old books and honey tea. The floor was smooth beneath your feet, and the hallway ahead seemed to stretch longer than the train could possibly be. Time felt slower here. The hum of the wheels below was low, steady like a lullaby. You walked down the corridor, hand brushing the polished wall. Each carriage had its own door, slightly ajar. You paused at the first. On a small plaque, etched in silver, it read, "Carriage One, rest." You stepped inside. It was a cozy room, soft and warm. There was a large window on one side, and outside the stars shimmered like glitter across velvet. The landscape passed slowly, a dream of moonlit rivers and silver trees. Nothing too fast, nothing to make you feel hurried. A fireplace crackled softly at the far end of the room. Not real fire, maybe, but it felt real. Warmth curled through the space. You found a chair high-backed, padded with soft velvet, and sank into it. The moment you sat down, your shoulders dropped, your chest loosened. You hadn't realized how tightly you'd been holding the day inside you until now. Across the room was a tea tray. Without needing to ask, a small steam kettle released a puff of fragrant air lavender, chamomile, and something a little sweet. The cup was already there, waiting. You sipped slowly. No pressure, no noise. Just the sound of the train sliding gently through the night. The stars outside the window shifted. You saw clouds moving below them, as if the train were gliding not along the ground, but through the sky itself. You looked up. Above you, painted across the ceiling of the carriage, were constellations, some you recognized, and others you didn't, but they all shimmered gently, pulsing like the calm rhythm of a heartbeat. Everything felt soft, gentle. You closed your eyes, and in that space between thoughts and dreams, you heard a voice, not out loud, but inside. This is only the beginning. You didn't answer. You didn't need to. You simply leaned back into the chair, let the warmth of the tea and the hum of the train hold you, and allowed yourself at last to rest. Are you on your journey home? Are you seeking rest or an adventure in the night? What calls to you? Welcome back to The Train Beneath the Stars, a series where every episode is a relaxing bedtime story meant to guide you into a peaceful sleep. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoy these videos, feel free to share them with others who might find comfort in them. Now let's board the train and continue our journey together. You don't remember falling asleep in the first carriage, only that you awoke with the softest sense of being held. Outside the window, the stars still shimmered, but now the sky was a deeper blue, the kind that comes just before dawn. You felt rested in a way that didn't quite make sense. Not just physically, but somewhere deeper, somewhere behind your chest. The carriage hummed quietly beneath your feet, still gliding through the sky like a forgotten lullaby. You stood, stretching gently, and returned to the hallway. There were more doors now. You hadn't noticed how many there were before, but the corridors seemed to stretch endlessly, curving softly as if the train bent with the path of the stars themselves. The next door stood slightly ajar, just like the first. A silver plaque read, Carriage Two, Memories. You touched the handle and pushed gently. It opened with the ease of something that had been waiting for you a long time. Inside, the light was soft, not yellow and warm like before, but blue and silver like moonlight spilling over old stone. The walls were lined with shelves, and the shelves were filled with bottles, each glowing faintly. You stepped closer. Some bottles were tall and thin, others round like snow globes. Inside them, tiny scenes flickered and moved, like watching old film through a glass lens. You picked one up. Inside, a child ran barefoot through a field, laughing, chasing fireflies. You watched for a moment, realizing that child was you. You smiled. On another shelf, a bottle pulsed gently. Inside it, you saw a rainy evening, the one where you sat on a porch years ago, wrapped in a blanket, sipping cocoa and listening to someone you loved read aloud. You had forgotten that night, and yet here it was, perfectly preserved, soft, still untouched by time. You didn't cry. You didn't need to. These memories weren't here to hurt you. They were here to be seen, to remind you that even on days when everything feels blurred and far away, there were moments you lived fully, beautifully. At the center of the carriage was a round table. Upon it sat a single glass bottle with no label, glowing faintly green. You hesitated and then picked it up. Inside, there was no movement, just a still frame, a window with sunlight streaming through it, dust floating gently in the air. There was nothing dramatic about it, no big event, just peace. The kind of peace that comes from a quiet morning, alone, with nothing to do and nowhere to be. It took your breath for a moment, because it wasn't a memory of a person. It was a memory of a feeling. And perhaps that's what this carriage was truly for, not just remembering people or places, but the quiet joy of existing. You placed the bottle back on the table gently. As you did, the lights in the carriage dimmed just slightly, as if acknowledging your visit. You turned toward the door, but not before casting one more look at the shelves. Some bottles were glowing brighter now. Others had dimmed, as if choosing to rest for a while longer. The memories didn't disappear. They simply waited. Just like this train, you stepped back into the hallway. The train rumbled on, still smooth, still gentle. Ahead, more doors waited. More stories, more parts of yourself. You walked forward slowly, hand trailing along the wood-paneled wall. And behind you, Carriage Two closed softly. As you continue on, you'll come across more carriages, each holding a different experience, a different part of your life's journey. Your path is unique, just like the constellation patterns above you. This night is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. If you found comfort in this story, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might resonate with others who've had similar experiences and bring them solace too. Imagine you're standing on the platform of your own life, watching the last train of the day pull in. Its carriages hold the experiences and feelings of today, ready to take you back to the start so you can rest and begin again tomorrow. But wait, the engineer calls out, all aboard. He beckons you to join him for one last ride, a chance to relive the emotions of the day before bidding them farewell. You step onto the first carriage, hesitantly at first, but then with growing excitement. Inside, soft yellow light spills from the windows, beckoning you to come in and sit down. It's cozy and inviting, filled with the scent of vanilla and old books. You notice a table in the middle of the carriage with a single glass bottle on it. It glows warmly, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Curiosity piqued, you walk towards it. As you get closer, the glow intensifies, revealing a swirling mass of golden light inside the bottle. You reach out to touch it, and as your fingers make contact, images start to bloom in your mind. Throughout the day, you felt a mix of emotions. When you woke up, there was a sense of anticipation for the day ahead, the excitement of possibilities. Then came the challenges, moments of frustration and anger when things didn't go your way. You felt the sting of disappointment, the ache of longing for something just out of reach. But there were also moments of joy, the warmth of friendship, the thrill of accomplishment, the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. All these emotions swirled within you, a kaleidoscope of human experience. As you watch the swirling light in the bottle, you realize that these are not just fleeting feelings. They are building blocks of your life's journey. Each emotion, whether pleasant or challenging, contributes to the rich tapestry of your existence. You understand that embracing all of them, the highs and lows, is what makes you truly human. In the quiet solitude of the carriage, you find a strange sense of peace. You see that life isn't about avoiding the negative emotions, but in acknowledging and integrating them. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. As the last light fades, you feel a deep sense of gratitude for the day and all its lessons. The engineer, noticing your transformation, smiles knowingly. It's time, he says gently, to move on to the next carriage. With newfound clarity and peace, you step out of the carriage and onto the platform. Before you stands the second carriage, its doors inviting you to explore further. What will you discover inside the second carriage? How will it shape your understanding of the journey ahead? Stay tuned to find out in the next part of this captivating bedtime story. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and bring a smile to someone's face by sharing the joy of bedtime stories. Thank you for joining me on this enchanting journey. Sweet dreams until we meet again in the next part of our story.